that going for a minute, Brian Matthews, because that was a cause of concern for Brenda and myself.
I said that's the wrong music.
Yeah, that's not the Jam and Sunrise Extra song, but now that it's been playing for a few minutes in our ears, Brenda and I think we like it. Poison Waters with us this morning on the show. Drag queen extraordinaire.
I think I'm crooked.
Well, now you're out of the picture.
I gotta go more this way.
Yep.
There you go. That is some big hair, girl.
Hey, Poison.
I gotta get centered.
If we go back to that three.
Oh, look at me.
Now check this out. I don't know if you can do this. If you spun around, you could probably fill that entire center block with just your hair. I don't know if you're able to do that for us this morning or not. That is awesome. Poison Waters joins us this morning on Sunrise Extra. We wanted to take things a little lighter as we head into the weekend. Brenda, and I know you and Poison have been good friends for many years.
Yeah, we have. Poison, I always call you my sister from another mister. Separated at birth.
Yeah, that's true. That's who I am. People believe us though, which is scary. People ask me all the time, "Are you really Brenda Braxton's brother?" I'm like, no.
You know, we wanted to talk today for a couple of reasons.
Sister.
Yeah, hi sister. We wanted to talk today for a couple of reasons because there is a brand new drag show at Darcelle's. And when you say you're diving into something different, that's a feat because Darcelle's is celebrating, 53 years this weekend?
Yeah, so this is our 53rd year and Darcelle is 90. So you think she's done it all and the club has done it all, and it's kind of amazing that we're going to do something we've never done before. We are going to dive into the world of drag queen brunches before the quarantine. You know, there are drag queen brunches everywhere. You couldn't swing a dead cat without hitting a drag queen brunch, y'all, in this town. And we just never, that was just never anything on our radar. And now when everyone's getting creative and, looking for new ways to boost their revenue stream and just have fun and be able to support our audience members that aren't able to come downtown at night or on the weekend night, a Sunday afternoon is a perfect time to come to Old Town.
Well, that's the thing. Like Drew Poison was telling me earlier that they had these drag queen brunches and then the shutdown happened and they just never came back. So Darcelle's was like, what the heck? I'm going to jump in.
I don't understand. Well, on one hand, Poison, you say they had these drag queen brunches all over the place, but I will admit to you that I tend to live basically under a rock when I'm not here at work. So I personally not all that familiar with the concept of the drag queen brunch. So you had to explain how this works and how it's going to look on Sunday.
Well, sure. So, Drew, just to break it down for you in your rock living life, drag queen brunch is brunch with drag queens. It's very simple. we have a wonderful show. The Darcelle show has been famous for over 5 decades, and we're bringing that show to the Sunday afternoon stage. And as your package presented earlier, instead of our full cast, 8 showgirls on stage along with Darcelle, because of social distancing, we can only have a maximum of 2 people on stage at a time. So we'll have duets and lots of singles, which is great. A lot of our entertainers are so excited to try out new numbers. And how it will look at Darcelle's, we have been scrubbed and cleaned and sanitized, and all the furniture was taken out. Everything was clean. We brought all the furniture back. Well, not all the furniture. So we're about half capacity now. So, Darcelle has always had that great theater seating, rows and rows of chairs. Well, now we have little clusters of chairs and tables, like a little cabaret setup. It's really darling. And there's plenty of room to get around, and everyone, of course, will be asked to wear a mask. They'll have a temperature check at the door, and our show will be on stage while they will receive a plated brunch down on the showroom floor. So,
Director Brian, can we put up the number for reservations? If anybody's interested, they can call that number. It's 503-222-5338. So this runs every Sunday in September and October, but Poison, you were saying if it's a hit, that you guys would consider extending it?
Oh, absolutely. We would love to extend it. Oftentimes people are like, I'm going to do that, make this big grand announcement to the world that they're going to do this forever, and then it doesn't really work out, and then you have egg on your face. So we're not like that. We're very professional. So we're going to put it down for 2 months, 8 Sundays in a row, and see what happens. And so far, reservations are looking pretty good, and people are really excited about it. So fingers crossed we can continue through the rest of the year.
When we feed our audience spoonfuls of poison, we like to feed them big spoonfuls. So poison, not just the brunch on Sunday, but then there's another event happening this Labor Day weekend there at Darcelle's. It's a garage sale. So tell me about the garage sale.
Well, one of the things that we've done in the last couple of years, so drag queens are really just glamorous hoarders. We just want more and more and more. And I was telling Brenda, I just got this wig in the mail yesterday, and I don't need another wig. I have 50 million wigs. Okay, not that many, but I have more hair than I need. But we just can't help it. We see something new, we want something new. And also we like to spice things up for our audience. We have a lot of return guests. So we like to have new clothes and new shoes. And to be quite honest, with the Corona belly I've grown, I've had to get a lot of new outfits. So at Darcelle's the last couple of years, we've been having these drag queen garage sales, which is just, we're not a big space down there. So we have too many clothes, too many shoes, too many wigs, which I can't believe I'm saying too many of those things because you can never have too many. But so we open it up to the public to come, and everybody loves a little glitz and glam. The holidays are coming up. No matter what those are going to look like, you still want to sparkle. And so we'll have jewelry for sale and gently used wigs and beautiful costumes, sequins, rhinestones, shoes, and we get a lot of like theater folks and cabaret folks and just people that want to be fabulous folks come to our sale. So it's Monday at the club, Labor Day weekend at the club downtown from noon to 4. There's no cover charge. We'll practice social distancing. We'll only allow, a certain amount of folks in at the time. And they can just shop our little vendor booths. We have a special guest coming all the way from Tucson, Arizona, who makes beautiful jewelry. Brenda has been a guest at Darcelle's, a guest judge at Darcelle's La Femme Magnifique Drag Queen Beauty Pageant in the past. And every weekend, or every year, which is Labor Day weekend, our guest who owns MadeForAQueen.com, a beautiful jewelry company, comes and sells the jewelry, the big drag queen jewelry that she makes. Well, because the pageant's canceled because of COVID-19, she's still coming. So we're gonna. We actually built the drag queen garage sale around her visit this time. So you can come and get big, fabulous jewelry, brand new, custom made, and then also our drag queen garage sale stuff.
Okay, so maybe if you buy me something, I'll try and wear it on our sunrise show. I don't know if I could pull it off like you. Tell me about the look. Just give us a little peek behind the curtain. I mean, for you to get into Poison Waters, because you've got your alter ego, Kevin Cook, and then you've got the Poison Waters, how long does it take you to put all this together? I mean, I struggle with my regular makeup just to go on TV news.
Well, you look beautiful. You have that natural beauty. I do not. So I have to wake up looking like Drew, but finish out looking like Brenda. So I'm just kidding, Drew. You know I love you. No, so I like to take. You're one of the most attractive men in Portland television.
You did have a little crush on Drew, didn't you, Poison? Can we dish?
Oh, I did until I got to know him. I did. We did it. We did. Drew, a long time ago, we did America's Next Top Model Portland edition.
Oh my gosh!
And Drew was the MC, and I was one of the judges. That was forever ago, yes, and that was the first time we met and worked together. And oh my gosh, I just swooned. I could hardly pay attention to my judges' scores. I was too busy judging Drew.
Poison, if you had a guess.
Do you remember that, Drew?
Oh, I do. Do you? If you had a guess, how long ago would you say that was? Like, name the year, because I absolutely remember the year.
That's hilarious.
You remember it? I would say 2006 to 2008.
How about 2004? It was before I got here, and I got here in 2006. It was at my previous station.
Oh,
it was way back in 2004.
Yes, I remember.
A 16-year relationship, you might call it, Poison.
See, we're just two kindred spirits. I just can't help it.
See, there you go. We have no secrets on Sunrise Extra, so I'm going to talk about a little bit of our back and forth. So, Drew, do you remember when you used to do those bits of the Speedo wearing?
Oh, yeah.
Remember when you'd put on a Speedo and everybody would recoil? Like Russ Lewis and
yes.
Nick Allard, everybody who worked here at the time.
It looked
you know
like
who
Russ
didn't
caught
recoil?
Poison.
My phone would blow up like, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Ooh, look at that dad bod.
I don't get up too early too often, but when I find out that there's going to be a Speedo segment, my alarm is set.
I'll tell you what, I haven't worn a Speedo on TV now in about 2 full years. And you mentioned that quarantine belly of yours there, Poison, that you've developed maybe over the last 6 months.
Yeah.
I've been working on my belly for 2 years. It is not Speedo ready anymore.
You do not have a belly at
Listen,
all.
I will be the judge. I would. Oh, looking good.
See what happens? All hell breaks loose when you come, Poison, here on our little broadcast, our little stream. Drew, why can't I find the stream today?
I don't know. I have the stream in front of me, and I have comments to share.
Please do, because I can't
give me the
find
green light
it.
to share the comments. So, Poison, you've been on this program before. What I find to be the most enjoyable part of Sunrise Extra, I say this nearly every day, is the fact that we can interact with the audience. Seriously, it's cool. We don't get to do this during the TV show.
Yeah.
The lots of comments pouring in, kind of speaking to what you and Brenda just talked about, all the makeup that goes into the look, Poison. Cheryl Lynn says, too early to get that makeup on, girl. TJ, we often hear from him on the Sunrise Extra Facebook streams. He says, or TJ says, I need a wig, please. So maybe TJ will be showing up at that garage sale on Monday.
Come on by, we'll have him.
Hugs Poison. Who says that? I got to look this up. Oh, do you know, by any chance, do you know a Jason Anthony Youngman, Poison?
Probably.
Well, I just feel like Jason may know you because he says, hugs Poison. I just felt like that was very personal. Like maybe you guys have hugged before.
From Vegas.
Well, listen, I'm a very personable person, and people just feel that they can just, I'm a very approachable Drew. They can just come up to me, anywhere.
You're not hugging during the pandemic, though, right? Hugging is out right now?
Oh, no, just doing virtual hugs and visual hugs.
Poison, I have to ask you about a couple things because I didn't realize this, and I think it's super cool. You are Oregon's representative for, is it called Drag Out the Vote? What is the official name?
It's called, Drag Out the Vote. Drag Out the Vote 2020 is a national nonprofit, nonpartisan organization that is partnering with drag queens and drag queens in every state to get the word out for people to register. That's the main thing, is to get young folks to register, 18 to 25-year-old. That demographic are the folks that just aren't really voting. And the first step to voting is to register. And a lot of folks don't realize it's a super duper, easy peasy thing to do, and you can register to vote online in the state of Oregon. It's super simple on the Secretary of State website, sos.oregon.gov, and also you can find out more about Drag Out the Vote at dragoutthevote2020.org. And I applied, and people all over the country applied to represent their state, and I was chosen, and I'm thrilled. As I was telling Brenda yesterday, I found out that there's somebody in Medford, a drag queen in Medford. I didn't know there were drag queens in Medford. And I'm going to reach out to that person and work with them and see what's going on in the southern part of the state and get our folks to register. 18 to 25 is the time when you're just figuring out your life. Sometimes voting or registering to vote is the last thing on your list because you're trying to find a place to live. Are you going to school? What's going on in your personal life? But you have to put that on your list of things to do, register to vote. And another reminder, too, is people move a lot. People move, especially during that time of your life. And people forget, if you moved, you need to update your registration. You need to re-register, update, so the state of Oregon has your address so we can get those ballots to you.
Maybe drag queens can bring us all together.
I just took a quick...
Yes, drag queens are going to save this world, one eyelash at a time.
I was looking down at the clock just to see how much time we had left, because I don't know if we've dived into this before, and not while I've been on Sunrise Extra, not during one of the shows that I've been on, but I love the background story because Brenda already mentioned your alter ego, Kevin Cook. Kevin Cook, if I'm not mistaken, grew up in the Park Rose neighborhood of Portland, and at one point, back in the 80s, Kevin Cook came out to his family and said, I am gay. And back in the 80s, that was not as easy a task, and it's still not easy for some people, I recognize that. It was especially difficult back in the 80s. So what was that experience like, and how did you manage to pull that off with your family?
Well, being a very flamboyant personality plus type person my whole life, I think it came as no surprise to my family. And in fact, my sister, who's 1 year older than me, had kind of she recognized me kind of struggling. I had something to say, I'm hemming and hawing, being a little secretive, which is not normally the way I am. And so my family kind of told me, they're like, hey, we know, it's okay. Which was a huge relief. The biggest thing is to just say it, and I wasn't able to say it to my family, and so they kind of took that burden off of me, which was wonderful in the late 80s. And you're right, we grew up in Park Rose, my family and I, and back then there weren't a lot of families of color, and my sister and I were just two of very few black people in Park Rose. And of course, now all of that has changed, which is good. It's changed for the better. And so growing up in Park Rose as one of the few black kids, and then being the obvious gay kid, and we were very, I'll just say very poor, low income. So I just felt like I had a lot of bricks piled up against me. But it all made me stronger. It made my life wonderful what it is now, going through everything that I felt I was going through back then. Park Rose is a beautiful, wonderful community, and I'm just so thankful that I got to grow up there.
So you told me, because I had the privilege of interviewing you for KGW Carpool. Right. You were my very, very first interview. Right. So we were riding around for a few hours and we were talking about everything. And you talked about struggling, needing to go to churches and pantries for food and clothing. Your family did when you were a young boy. So is that part of the reason why you're so involved with charities and philanthropy now as an adult?
That's absolutely. My family and I were so blessed and so fortunate. We received so much assistance, both from the government, but also from our local community. And it just always was amazing to me. I'm like, these people don't even know us, and people are bringing us things and sharing what they had with us. And so I've always remembered that. And even when we first moved here for 6 months, our whole family lived in a van down by the river. We didn't have a place to live when we first arrived here from California. So I've always remembered that, and remembered the kindness of, literally, that sounds so cliche, the kindness of strangers. And so working with the nonprofits that I'm so lucky to get to work with now in my alter ego as Poison Waters, it's so important to me to remember, all of those people that helped us, all the organizations, and also, it's as a recipient to realize, hey, those programs work, and those programs are necessary, and they help people get back on their feet. They help people realize the better life that is at their fingertips. And so working with the homeless community and the different nonprofits that are helping transition people from the streets to homes, and the pantries and the food and all of that, it's really important to me, personally, of course.
I'm looking at one of the comments on our stream. I just have to read this. It's so poignant. This is from Jennifer Taft. She's one of our regulars. She weighs in all the time. She says to you, Poison, thanks so much for your drag time story time. It means the world to kids. I took a student whose dad was transitioning. It meant so much to her to meet a fabulous kind of different person, and to see that you can be like whatever, and be accepted. Do you want to talk about the drag story time and what that's all about?
Sure. So that started in San Francisco several years ago, drag queens reading storybooks to children in libraries. And it kind of got big and blown up all over the country. And some parts of the country weren't really into it. And there's been a lot of controversy about that in the media over the years. And I just kind of thought, well, I'm going to wait and see how this rides out. And I was contacted by our friends at Multnomah County Library, and they said, hey, do you want to help us kick off this pilot program here in Portland? And I said, sure. But I didn't know which books, to read. And they had, I could not believe the amount of books on the shelves of Multnomah County Library that revolve around diversity, acceptance, gender roles, racism, all in bright colors and easy to understand stories, and made for children. And so the average age of those attendees at the Drag Queen Storytime is between like 4 and 6 years old. And I think it's so great that parents in droves bring their children to the Drag Queen Storytimes to hear these stories. Are so important to understand that everyone's different, but we're all the same inside, that, you know, different skin tones and different, you know, somebody has 2 moms or somebody only has 1 parent, and, you know, different things if someone's in a wheelchair, if so, you know, all the different things that make us different in our community, but to understand that there's still people inside. And there's great stories about, you know, boys that like to wear dresses, girls that only like to wear what is perceived as boys' clothes. And there's several books about, you know, just getting rid of that whole notion of boys' clothes and girls' clothes, and pink is for girls and blue is for boys. There's wonderful books that children understand that kind of break it down and say, you know, that's not really the way it is. And even though that's what we've all been taught. So I get to do another one, not March. Oh my gosh, this whole year is so crazy.
I know,
don't know.
right?
It could be Christmas tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know. So it's going to be Sunday, September 20th.
Okay.
And it's going to be, you can find the information on my website, poisonwaters.com. And I think you all have the information too. You'll post it. It's going to be 10 a.m. on a Sunday morning. Yeah, thank you so much. And that's with my friends at the Mercury. So I'm looking forward to that.
And I love this because Jennifer is just writing back to me. I didn't realize this, but the book, Neither, is a great title, is apparently what you're reading. I didn't realize it was a children's book, but that would be really helpful, you know, to families. I love that. Thank you, Jennifer.
And it's really, it's a darling little, let's see, I have all my books right here. It's called, I think my light's too bright.
Yeah, just turn it down a little bit. Or no, the other way. We get the idea.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Neither. So it's Neither, and it's literally, it's a great book about not being one or the other. It's neither, you know, in children's form, but basically what it's saying is not a boy, not a girl.
Drew, did you see this comment from Heidi Conroy?
I have another one, but read Heidi's first.
Poison, she asks, can you suggest any books for a teenager transitioning?
You know, the ones that I have on my shelf are definitely for younger folks, but there are books out there, I'm telling you, for everyone, and I promise I'll look into that and I'll send it to you, Brenda, and I'll send you some information.
Okay.
I'll look into it.
Poison, you obviously have a following of fans, a flock of fans that follow you around, as a matter of fact. But we have some first-time Poison fans showing up in the stream this morning. Case in point is Sharon. Sharon says, wow, first time meeting Poison. What a great person. Amazing. Love the energy. So the flock of fans is growing this morning.
Fantastic.
It really is cool.
Well, welcome to the family.
We are going to run out of time here shortly. I know Brenda has some Today Show cut-ins to take care of, but you want to mention real quickly again, in brief, Poison, the Sunday brunch details and the Monday garage sale?
First of all, how dare you? You know I can't do anything in brief. But our drag queen brunch starts at Darcelle's. It's noon to 2 on Sunday, so you want to get there right at noon. But make your reservations too, because we have limited seating. And then the drag queen garage sale is noon to 4 on Monday, and that is going to be super duper fun. Both events are 21 and over because we are a bar.
That was very brief. You did it. You done did it, Poison. Thanks for joining us today on Sunrise Extra. Brenda, that's a week's worth of extra.
Oh, that's a perfect way to end the week. Thank you, Poison. Thank you guys for weighing in.
Much.
Yes, absolutely, and watching, and keep commenting. The conversation goes all day long. You know where to find us.